In today's series of The Incredible Everyday Woman, Temi Binitie shares her journey in the maritime industry.
I think being a mother, a career woman, and having a young child in itself is just a challenge on its own.
Running a marathon in memory of a loved one.
That was my very first race, and I got an appetite for running. My ultimate is just to be a beacon of hope.
Obviously, your love for running started from liquid lunches. I also know that you ran the Race for Life. This was down to a loved one passing away from cancer. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
I ran in the honor of my father's eldest brother, who had passed away, I think, in my final year of university. He was such a patriarch, in our home, and he had always loved me. He had known he had prostate cancer and never told anyone, which for me was just a very bizarre experience because this is an educated man. This is the dean of Uniben. I remember calling him and I was like, Big Daddy, why? Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell anybody? Why didn't you just let us know that, you had this thing, and we would have found doctors, money was not an issue, and unfortunately he passed away. That was the first person that I had a very, very close relationship with that had passed away. And I was so upset, I was angry at him. I was livid that, he wasn't going to be able to see me graduate from my law degree, and we could banter over, exam papers and things like that, let alone see me get married or, and all those, all your life milestones. And so I ran in Big Daddy's honor, and that was my very first race. And I got an appetite for running and trying to also tie the two with charitable giving. So.
May Big Daddy soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen to that. How has it been being a mother in the maritime industry that is predominantly male? What's been your journey there?
Where do we start? I worked literally throughout my pregnancy. I used to go to my hospital appointments from the office just because I'm dedicated to my work, and I just thought I had a bump. For me, it wasn't like I was ill. I didn't have an ailment. Life continued, right? So for me, I literally pushed all the way through. I left my office on a Wednesday afternoon to go for, I think, my 38-week checkup. And I was told I couldn't go home. But I left from the office. I left with my laptop. I left with everything. And they were like, sorry, you can't go home. I'm like, pardon, what? What are we talking about? I'm going home. There's an email I sent from the hospital bed to my HR lady going, okay, so they've asked me to come here. I still have my laptop with me, so if you guys need me to do anything, let me know, and stuff. This is like maybe 2 weeks before my due date, and she was like, please just close your computer and put it aside and focus on having a baby.
Having a baby.
So literally I left on Wednesday and I had my son on Saturday. I think being a mother, a career woman, and having a young child in itself is just a challenge on its own. I found that especially maybe more so now, I'm that mother that's running around. When you used to see moms in the morning that would be on the train, and it's only then that they're doing their makeup and they're able to wash their hair. Yeah, I've become one of those, except I just don't wear the makeup. I was very lucky that I found a nursery who was close to my home, and the care that they afford for Jacob is second to none, and I'm very comfortable, so I can go to work not being worried about who's looking after him. So when it comes to doing my job, I make it very well known to everybody who's willing to listen that I have a son, and I have a young son. I still do my job, in the evenings. There are times where I'm fixing a ship and Jacob is on my chest, and I'm like, okay, can we, I'm trading points. I'm saying, no, I offer this, decline this, and literally he's falling asleep on my chest, and you just have to just keep it moving. Jacob is a member of my staff. And it's in those moments that you realize that, those are the small conversations. Jacob, how was your day? And then you say, oh, mommy, somebody pushed me. Who pushed you? Why did they push you? Did you do something wrong? Were you unkind? And if I'm not able to pay attention to that without any distraction, I will miss out on that. At the same time, you've got to remember that there was a life you had before they came. So if you can try and maybe fit our interview whilst Jacob is sleeping, as we're doing now, I can still do that with you whilst making sure that he's still getting the love from his mom that he needs and the attention that he needs.
Would you mind sharing a bit of challenges of life, really tough moments, how you overcome them and what keeps you going?
For me, my faith is in, I think during my pregnancy, I definitely reconnected with God. I've always been very prayerful. It's something that I grew up with. My mom is very prayerful and has instilled that in me. My father goes to church every day. My father goes to mass every day. So when you're talking about teach your children in the way that you should go, that's the perfect example of that. It's interesting. The day that Jacob was born, the Bible verse came up that before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I just thought, my goodness, this is so prophetic. Like, don't worry about anything to do with this child because I'm the one that gave you this young man. During the pandemic, we've been reading Psalm 91 every night. If you sit with Jacob, every night before he sleeps, it's the last thing we do before he sleeps. And if you fall asleep, Jacob will be like, Mommy, Psalm. So before when his speech wasn't together, he'd be like, Mommy, Psalm. And I was like, oh yes. So now he's like, Mommy, we didn't say our Psalm. We have to say our Psalm. So he gets my phone, he can find the Bible app, and then we'll try and figure it out. I'm like, which Psalm is it? 91. And so and then he'll press play. When he presses play, you just be hearing Jacob going, pestilence, lion, serpent, and just literally just finishing like the sentences. Yeah, just picking the words and finishing the sentences, and then it ends, and I will give him peace, like it's my salvation. I just be like, yes, Lord, you are in the midst of this.
What's next, or what's ongoing now that is going to be next for you?
The sky's the limit. I have no. I find that sometimes setting goals may be a bit of a setup, and you somewhat put yourself under an extreme amount of pressure. I'm not trying to do Forbes under 40 or whatever because that's a little too late now, but or anything along those lines. But I think that for me, my ultimate is just to be a beacon of hope.
We don't only want to receive from you, we want to be able to give back. So from the Incredible Women community, which is growing and you're part of it, thank you. How can we help?
You can help me by just keep doing what it is that you're doing, because that way you feed into my beacon of hope, and I think that that's key. I think that that's probably all I can say you can help me do, is just keep finding women from different backgrounds and of different stories, different walks of lives, and that way you shine a light on those women, but also to other women to let them know that it's okay, whatever it is that you're going through. Maybe somebody else has been through it and they found a way to come out of it.
Just talk to that one woman. Any final words that come to mind?
Do you. It's as simple as that. Do what works for you and have fun doing it, because your life is the memories of what you make it. So do what works best for you. Find out what that is, stick to it, and have a wonderful time doing it.